How China took over the world's rare earth industry. China seized mines and built factories. Japan took note and invested in Australia. But the United States did little despite concern about control of supplies. China hooked the world in 2010 when it imposed an embargo on exports of crucial rare earth metal to Japan. And panicked Japanese executive appeared on television to warn that they were running out of the critical raw material. The embargo, prompted by a territorial dispute and lasted only 7 weeks, but it changed the global supply chains for this metal. When the embargo was over, China took forceful control of its mineral bounty. Top officials in Beijing rooted out corruption and crushed smugglers and consolidated the industry under the state control. The world was put on notice, especially Japan and the United States, two of the Chinese biggest consumers for rare earth metal and used in everything from cars to smartphones to missiles. Governments from both countries and drafted detailed plans for how to mitigate their dependence on China. Japan has largely followed through on its plan and today can source the minerals from Australia, not the United States. Even after 15 years, the country is still almost entirely reliant on China for the processing of rare earth metal. As a result, American automakers, aerospace companies, and the defense contractor have been left vulnerable. Angry about President Trump's tariffs, China has suspended all exports of certain rare earth, as well as the even more valuable magnets made from them. This small yet powerful magnet, no bigger than a ring for a person's finger, yet with 15 times the force of the conventional iron magnet, are an inexpensive and often overlooked component of electric motors. They are used in electric and gasoline-powered cars as well as robots, drones, offshore, wind turbine, missile, and fighter jet, and many other products. The American failure to devise an alternative to its dependence on the Chinese supply has spanned Democratic and Republican administrations. US policymakers for 15 years have done very little to address the risks of dependence on China for rare earths, specifically rare earth magnet, and said Milo McBride, a specialist in the critical mineral at the Carnegie Endowments for International Peace in Washington. Rare earths, he said, are the most strategic mineral of all the minerals that have been discussed for the last several administrations. Beijing's 2010 embargo against Japan was undermined by Chinese organized crime syndicate that control much of the industry in the south-central China in coalition with local officials. The gangster had been smuggling up to half of China's annual rare earth productions out of the country. Weeks after the embargo ended, Beijing took revenge. Government forces acting under national security order and stormed the valley near Longnan in Shijingxi province where much of the world's heavy rare earth minerals were produced. They seized the privacy-run mines and jailed thousands of people across southern China. Regulations of the industry was transformed from local government, later nationalized and consolidated into a single state-run company, China Rare Earth Group. During a visit last week to the valley without the knowledge of the local authorities, there was no sign of the thugs who used to guard southern China's rare earth mines. China has recently developed its own magnet industry instead of shipping the the materials to magnet factories in Japan. Beijing has poured money into building advanced magnet factories in Gansu, a city near Longnan. China now produces 90% of the world's magnet. Further construction was underway at two of Gansu's largest magnet factories last week. China's top leader Xi Jinping said in a speech in 2020 that it was important for China's national security that the West supply chain remains dependent on this country. We must build up our strengths and consolidate our international lead to industries while we have an advantage. He said a few months after visiting Gansu's most advanced magnet factory. He called for intensifying the dependence of international industrial supply chains on China, forming a powerful capacity to counter and deter televised supply cut off by foreigners. Japan also took far-reaching actions after the 2010 embargo. Its manufacturers began holding enough rare earths in inventory to meet up to 2 years of their own needs, and they also started looking overseas. The conglomerate Sumitomo Group, with financial backing from the Japanese government, and helped support the developments of the Lynas, an Australian mining company. Lynas mines and refines 60% of Japan's light rare earth, and which are mixed with small quantities of heavy rare earths to make rare earth magnet. The company is preparing to start refining heavy rare earth for Japanese manufacturers this summer in Malaysia, although initial in tiny quantities. Japan's biggest magnets manufacturer, Portrayal Shin-Etsu Chemical Company and TDK Corporation, has moved some productions from Japan to China to have reliable access to rare earth, and also to Vietnam and where labor costs are low. But they have also kept considerable productions in Japan. The US rare earth magnets industry started with subsidiary of General Motors in northern Indians in 1980, but the factories shut down and moved to China and Singapore. After the embargo in 2010, Japanese company Hitachi Metals, and which changed its names in 2023 to Portrayal, and responding to concerns from administrations of former Presidents Barack Obama, built a rare earth magnets factory in North Carolina from 2011 to 2013.